Hey guys, Jeff here from SRT Armor, also the owner of Strategic Response Tactical LLC in Gilbert, Arizona. Today's video is going to be interesting. I had an email come in the other day from a gentleman that he is a subscriber on my channel. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. And he was asking me, he's like, Jeff, he goes, I appreciate your videos, I appreciate your honesty and the scientific aspect that you take towards what you're talking about and things like that. He goes, but I'm curious as what your personal weapons are. So I'm going to do a video on my personal, this is mine. This is a custom build that I did for myself because I use this as a testing base for a lot of things, but the current configuration has been this way for a little over 2 years. This rifle itself has probably close to 4,000 rounds through it, and it doesn't get clean like it should. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it apart. I'm going to explain all the components that I use in it and why that I used the things that I did, and give you a better idea of my mentality when it comes to building things. Some people consider this a Frankenstein build because not all the parts are from the same manufacturer, but we'll talk about that more in the video. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch the camera around over here to the bench and show you what I've got on there and talk about everything on there. So stay tuned. Okay, so here we are over to the bench. I've got the gun pulled apart a little bit. I went ahead and disassembled it some so I'd make it a little bit faster and the video wouldn't be quite so long. I use multiple companies' slings. This is a Blue Force Gear, Vickers combat type sling. And you can see it right there, Blue Force Gear. Love it. So the upper receiver, as we're talking about it, let me go from the receiver forward. So the receiver itself is an Anchor Harvey. As you can see that. I do not remember where I got it from. I don't know which manufacturer I got it from or anything like that. Anchor Harvey does not make them. They are the forging, and then other companies machine everything. And it's got the mil-spec dust cover. It's got the mil-spec forward assist and everything else. I'm not a big fan of forward assists, but that's for another video. But yeah, this upper receiver is 2 TDP Spec. As you probably already know, anything that I build, I double check and make sure it's to spec. If it's not to spec, I don't use it. So yeah, this is exactly 2 TDP Spec, the upper receiver. And it's got the M4 feed ramps on the receiver itself. Talk about the barrel. The barrel itself is actually a LUTH AR. And I don't know who makes LUTH AR. I have a suspicion of who makes them. But it is a magnetic, or not magnetic. It's magnesium phosphate coated. It is a government profile. It has a chopped front sight gas block on it. It started life as an A2, and it turned into a short version because that's what I wanted. Excuse me. It's running an A2 flash hider. I go between. If I'm not running a suppressor, I run the A2 on there. If I'm putting a suppressor on it, it's a direct thread. It is a Rebel suppressor, titanium. I've had this for a long time. It's really low numbered, and I'm really sad that they went out of business because very, very, very quiet, and it's not stupid heavy. It's less than, I want to say it's probably 12 ounces at the very most. But yeah, very, very, very quiet. The barrel is not chrome lined, and it is M4 feed ramps, and it is definitely a better than MOA. It'll do less than 1-inch groups at 100 yards with no problem. On a bench, it definitely would do a lot better standing up, which is really hard to judge. I believe if you can hit a 6-inch target at 300 meters, it's pretty fucking accurate. So, and it'll do that. I've done that multiple times, and many people that have shot this have done it multiple times. So barrel's very, very, very accurate. So, and it wasn't stupid expensive either. Speaking of not stupid expensive, let's talk about the handguard. So this is a Midwest Industries Night Fighter handguard, and it is rugged. It's heavy duty, a little heavier than what a lot of people would like, but the trade-off being heavy and being light is the strength of the handguard itself. This handguard I put on my reaction rod, and I hung 20 pounds off the front, measured it, hung 30 pounds off the front, measured it, 140 pounds. I got almost 50 pounds hanging off the handguard before it even started showing there was any deflection or anything like that. I'm not going to exert 50 pounds of pressure on the handguard. So As far as losing zero because of the handguard deflection or anything like that, that's not going to happen. The fit is very, very tight. When you go to put it together, the barrel nut is pretty long. It's out probably about 1.5 inches, and it's a steel barrel nut. And when it slides on, it takes effort to get on there. And I did not have to beat on it, but it took a little bit of effort to get it on there. And it's got steel screws, and I'm pretty sure that it goes into, no, it doesn't have the steel inserts on the other side, but it's torqued to spec the way it's supposed to be, and it's blue Loctited. The handguard's not blue Loctited to the barrel nuts. But yeah, I really like it, and it's not smooth like some of the others. It's not a Geissele, but it's also not a Geissele Price or a Daniel Defense or a Knights. I would put it up against them. I think the only other company that I think I would like even better is Centurion Arms, and because they make really cool stuff, and they use mil-spec barrel nuts, which is really, really, really cool. Don't have one yet. I'm in the process of getting that. I want to become a dealer for them. But yeah, so we got the Anchor Harvey, we got the LUTH AR 11.5-inch barrel, A2 flash hider, Midwest Industries Knights, or not Knights, Night Fighter handguard, running a EXPS2 Op Mod red dot. My optics on my rifles are not static. They could change in a moment's notice. The only thing that stays on here is the Midwest Industries flip-up combat sights. I love them. They're steel. I don't know that I like them better than the Magpuls, but about the same price. But I like them because they're solid. They're very, very, very solid. So yeah, and I'm running a Streamlight TLR1 HL light, very, very bright, with the, you can see that, the flash, with their pressure switch that came with it, and I'm running Ranger bands on there to hold the wire down so it doesn't go anywhere. So that's the upper receiver. Like I said, it's very, very accurate. We're going to move on now to the bolt carrier group. Now the bolt carrier group is unique. It's the bolt and the carrier are not from the same manufacturer. The carrier itself is it's marked with an A. I don't know if you can see that on there. I've had this carrier for a long time. This is not an Aero Precision. This is a Advanced Ordnance Corporation bolt carrier group. I'm pretty sure they did some contract work for Colt. Can't swear to it. As you can see, it's got a little wear on it. It is 8620. It is magnesium phosphate. It is chrome lined. The key is magnesium phosphate, chrome lined. They are 2 spec. I spec'd it out. The only thing I don't like about the carrier, the only thing, are the screws. The screws are YFS fasteners. I'm not a big fan of YFS fasteners because they're Chinesium. I don't like Chinesium screws on American guns. Just a personal preference of mine. I have double checked this. I did a reverse screw test on it using my inch-pound wrench and took it up to 30 pounds. They did not back off. Staking is phenomenal. I don't know if you can see that. I wish I could say I did that. I did not do that, but it's very good. It's definitely displaced some metal onto the YFS fastener, so I'm not really too concerned about it. And like I said, this gun's got 4,000 rounds on it, and I've not had any issues with it. And I clean my weapons. I don't clean them religiously, like probably some people think that I should, but I know people that don't clean their weapons at all and never have any issues with them, as long as you got them oiled up. And like I said, it's magnesium phosphate, but it looks like black nitride because it's got oil on it. If I sprayed it off with a brake cleaner, you'd see just how phosphate coated it is. So moving on to the bolt. So the bolt is, I don't know where I got it from. I don't know what manufacturer made it. It is, as you can see there, it's Carpenter 158 marked, and it's MPI, magnetically particle inspected. I don't know if it's batch tested or individually tested. I'm sure it probably batch tested. The extractor, not a big fan of the black nitride on the extractor. I wish it was phosphate, but haven't had any issues with it. This has been upgraded. It has the Springco springs for the ejector and for the extractor. And it's got Sprinko gas rings, and I also upgraded the pins. I took all the split pins out and I put roll pins on all my guns. This is one of the first ones that got all that stuff done to it. So that's one of the things that I do as far as an upgrade kit to your weapon if you decide to do that. And as you can see, I mean, it's got a little wear on it, but the cool thing about this is even when I shoot a shit ton of it, everything just wipes right off of it. That's why I like the black nitride. And it is to spec. Everything is TDP Spec. If it was undersized, I'd be like, yeah, you know what? I don't know that I necessarily like it. And but yeah, it cleaned up really damn good. I didn't scrub on it or anything. I just sprayed it off with some brake cleaner, wiped it off, and there you go. But I don't use shitty ammo either. I use only NATO spec ammo, either 193 or 855. Haven't shot any A1 through it yet. And I want to get some 77 OTM to run through it, see how well it does. But yeah, so it's black nitride, Carpenter 158, and firing pin is to spec. And a little dirty, not too bad. Cam pin, and I mark all my cam pins so that way I know how I put them back in each time. Yeah, everything's mil spec on it, so yeah, good to go. So the charging handle, my favorite, as well as many other people, charging handles are made by Radian. This is a Radian Raptor, and I've had this for a long time. This one, as you can see, has been used. It's got a high round count on it. Actually, I think I took this out of another rifle to put in this one. But I did modify this, and I can do this modification if you're curious about it. The reason why I did it is because it would get some blowback when you fired it with a suppressor. And I didn't like that. I don't like having shit blowing in my eyes, especially wearing glasses. It hits me in the face and goes underneath my glasses up into my eyes. So what I did is I machined this out just a little bit here, and I drilled it out from this side, and you can see there's been some porting done to it. So the pretty good sized little hole. But I fired this. The first time I took it out, I had my son and my buddy Jeff with me. And I was like, well, how much of the gas is blowing out? And it was cold out. And you could see it was the plume of smoke coming out in front of the charging handle right here was phenomenal. No blowback in the face. We took it out of my gun, put it in Jeff's gun, ran it, did the same damn thing. So I don't want to say that I've modified his or anybody else's, but yeah, it has happened. It's one of the best modifications that I did to the charging handle. I think they are perfect the way that they are, but I think I just made it a little bit more perfect with just the modifications that I did. So yeah, and it's great. So that's the upper receiver. And if I didn't state it before, let me state again. All the components on my firearms are TDP Spec. If they're not, I don't use them. And that's the reason why I'm very picky about when I build weapons for people. So the lower receiver, as you see, I use, well, let me just start because I have it out here. This is a Colt carbine spring, carbine length, and it's an Aero Precision H2 buffer. I'm not a big brand whore or anything like that. I actually have carbine, A1, A2, and A3 Aero Precision buffers that I use for testing, and this one actually just wound up in this gun. And remember talking about the barrel, it was a .073. So running .073, it was a little bit overgassed, and I had to do something about the speed at which the carrier was bound, because I was getting some bolt bounce, and with the H2 that took that away. The only other thing I could think of that I might want to do is change the spring out and go to a Sprinko white hot spring. It's a little bit stronger than a carbine length spring, and maybe drop it down to an H1 buffer. But as it sits right now, no issues with it. Firing, like I said, 4,000 rounds. So the lower receiver, as I move around to the other side of the camera, I did a video on this lower. This is a Palmetto State Armory lower. It's marked. I thought it was cool because this is property of U.S. government M4A1 carbine, caliber 5.56. And love it. I did a video using this one, and the video actually is on my channel. You can find it. It's the PSA versus Colt lower receivers, all things being equal. A lot of people don't like when I do that because I'm not making fun of their stuff. I'm just saying you don't spend unnecessary money that you don't need to necessarily do that. You don't need to do that. But The lower is TDP Spec. You can check it on the video if you don't believe me. And I did it right there, and use the gauges right there in front of you and everything else. And so yeah, lower receiver. The components of the parts, this is where it gets interesting. So talk about the trigger. The trigger is a Geissele SSAE trigger, and it's light. It's a 2-stage. To me, it's butter. It's just beautiful. I can, with my left hand, I can feel it. There's the wall. There's the brake. Here's the reset. Short reset. Fire again. Love it. Geissele SSAE trigger. If you haven't done so, do it. I have not tried the LaRue MBT trigger. If anybody has done that, has tried it, let me know what you think, especially if you've had a Geissele SSAE compared to the two. So that's what's in here. That's what's living in here. Starting from the front here, this is a battle steel ambidextrous mag release. As you can see, it works like a regular mag release, and then over here you can release it on this side, which makes for very rapid mag changes. Not had any issues with it. It's black nitrided, which, like I was saying earlier, I'm starting to like black nitride. The bolt catch is a Strike Industries. This is one of their, I can't remember what they actually call it, but I like it because it's a little bit more material, and I like the little thing down here, the little ledge that you can drop your bolt a lot easier when you put your mags in. And I'm pretty sure the machine, they're not MIM. I don't like MIM parts. It's kind of like YFS fasteners. I just don't like them. So talked about the trigger, talked about the mag release, talked about the bolt catch. Let's talk about the selector. So this is a Schmid Industries ambidextrous. Schmid had the Colt contract for years, and then they kind of went out on, did their own thing. They've been manufacturing. Everybody and their brother uses Schmid. I don't care what anybody says. If it's got little S's on it, it was made by Schmid. I'm not going to talk about any companies that use them that say that they had them. They did not have them made. Schmid made them, and then they purchased them for them to put in their weapons, which is there's nothing wrong with that at all. Here's where we get into the Frankenstein-ish. So got the Schmid selector, you got Schmid pivot and takedown pins. The small parts, like the detents and the springs, they're K&S. The detents are K&S black nitride. The springs, I think, are silicone, chrome silicone, and I think they're black nitrided as well. Really cool. Smooth. Love them. The plunger is K&S, and the spring as well. The safety selector plunger is also black nitride. And as you can see there, this is a standard spring. And just so you know, the same spring that's in the ejector, the bolt carrier group, is the same spring that's in here in the safety selector. So if you need to swap them out, just buy two and just swap them both out and you have no problem. I love the K&S stuff. They're black nitrided. Have had zero issues with them. The buffer tube, moving on, get my Ranger band back here. The buffer tube is an Aero Precision. It's the enhanced buffer tube. If you've never used one of these, you really need to check it out. But before I go on to that, let me talk about this. This is a forward control design buffer retainer pin. It is larger than a standard one. I don't know by how much, but it's considerably larger. You don't have to worry about it shearing off. And there are a lot of people that take these out saying, I don't need that in my gun. Well, you're stupid, because if you take that out when you go to pull your gun apart, when you take your pivot pin out, or not your pivot pin, you push your takedown pin out, you roll forward your upper receiver, your spring and buffer are going to fly the hell out. And then what are you going to do? Bad idea. Just get one of these. Just get one. They're worth the money. Battle steel end plate, quick connect, Colt, castle nut, because I got a shit ton of them. But back to the Aero Precision buffer tube. Cool thing about this thing is the way it's designed. I'm gonna reach around the camera and try not to smack it. Is these suck taking off. So the 6th position, and it's drilled. That allows for water and air pressure. Some people say that, no, there's no air pressure builds up in your buffer tube. Well, it's kind of like a piston moving back and forth in there. So if there's any air in there, and if it's a tight enough fit, which some of them are very tight, it's very smooth. It doesn't have any ridges on the inside. It's like smooth as glass. And I don't get very much spring noise out of this as well. But the reason why I like this is if you'll notice this little thing right here on the back, mil-spec one's straight. It's just like running into a wall. And if you've ever put one of these stocks on, one of the SLs, or even a B5 or something like that, they suck trying to get on. You just push it up. There it is. It's on. You don't have to pull down on it or anything like that. The only time you have to fight with it is when you're taking it off. But that's to be expected. So that's the lower in the nutshell. It's got a Magpul MOE K2 XL grip because I have big fucking man hands. And I get a good grip on it. It gives me a good trigger pull length. If I have another thing on there, here I'll run my finger for it. That's about how far my trigger finger would be sticking into it. But this one, when I got a good grip, it's right where it needs to be. Magpul, as I talked about a little bit, Magpul SL buttstock that's on here. The pad that came with it, I've had no issues with it or anything. So, and it's got a Magpul enhanced trigger guard thing, and it's a smooth transition right here. I thought I was going to have to smooth that out a little bit, but no, it's relatively smooth. I mean, you got a little bit of a catch in there. I mean, if you're really anal, you could fill that up with some JB Weld or something, or even silicone to fill that in. I don't notice it, and like I said, it gets shot a lot, and anybody who shoots it loves it. So yeah, that's the gun and the componentry that's in it. And I stand by it. I would actually put this up against any manufactured short barrel rifle that you'd want to bring out and run just as well and not cost nearly as much. So that's my 11.5. If you have any questions or anything and you want to know more about it or why I did some of the things that I did, I can go in greater detail. But hope you enjoyed the video. Hope it was educational and fun. And I don't know if I cussed. If I did cuss, I apologize. Maybe, kinda. But yeah, that's my 11.5 inch, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So y'all have a great day. God bless you. God bless America. Jeffrey Mitchell, SRT Armor, Strategic Response Tactical LLC, also known as Senior Tac, out.